Good morning. I've got another coffee talk for you guys. This one comes at you a little earlier. The sun has not come up yet, so we've got a little more shadows going on in here, but I think this one's pretty good. This is something I've put a lot of thought into, and I've got to observe a lot over the last few years. So this is about the two different horsemen I see, and it's mostly through giving lessons and a lot of interns helping young people with the EMMs, which is the Extreme Mustang Makeover. So taking a wild horse and getting them show ready in 100 days. Now, obviously, there's a lot of different personality types. There's a lot of different kinds of people and ways people train. So this is a broad look at two major things, and I think it's a massive predictor of success with horses from what I've seen. And probably even in life, to be honest with you. So, and I've been both of them, so I feel like this is a good talk. So let's get into it. I would describe it, and there's probably different words you can use, but today we're going to use the term, some people are doers and some people are waiters. And the waiters, they're waiting for the perfect conditions, they're waiting for the horse to be the perfect way before they ask for the next thing or whatever. And I found with the doers, I would predict their success to be faster and probably higher. They don't wait for things to be right. They don't wait for the perfect horse. They just do it. They see somebody do something and they want to do it and they push right towards it. What happens generally is a crash and burn. Like they see a 20-foot slide stop and they're going to get their old kid's horse to do it, and it's not good. But they learn a lot in the process. So sometimes getting better faster is just failing faster. So taking a look at like interns, we get a lot of interns in here, and some of them, when you coach them, let's call them the doers, when you coach something, you say, hey, if I was you, I would try to load my horse every day. We had one here, she's done really well, and Katie told her, I want you, before you leave here, and she was here for a month or a month and a half, she said, I want you to be able to take your horse and trot it up to the trailer and trot straight into the trailer without slowing down. And we didn't really say anything else to her, and when she went to leave, she said, hey, I want to show you something, and gets her horse out and trots it in. Because when she brought the horse, it was still pretty wild, and the next day, it was like a 12-plus hour trailer ride. So when she got here, the next day I was giving a lesson to someone else on trailer loading. So she went to work on it, not with us, and she couldn't get her horse in. And I think I let her try for about an hour, and then I went and helped her. And it didn't take me super long to do it, but the point is, we gave her some coaching. She did it. She didn't have to tell her every day. And then you have people, when you coach them, you'll say, hey, I want you to trailer load your horse every day, but, don't overdo it, but do it every day. I want you to be able to trot in, but, be a little careful. Don't do too much. And what they hear is, be careful, don't do too much. And so they're going to err on the side of doing less. Another great example, and actually I'll take it back to me. When I was learning, I would want to do lead changes or sliding stops, and I would watch the videos and I would hear that part. Don't stop too much. Be careful doing too many flying lead changes. And then I go places now and I see people in the warm-up pen, at the Mustang deals, it would be like Bobby Kerr and Elisa Wallace, and they're doing flying lead. They're doing 25 flying lead changes in the warm-up pen, and then they go out in their show ring and they're doing another 30 flying lead changes. They didn't make lead changes into this mountain that shouldn't be climbed or something bad's going to happen. And so it really stunted my growth to be, in a lot of ways, I was a perfectionist for a long time, and I learned you just never get anything done. Like, you just have to do things. And so horses are a lot that way. You got to get out there and try and just see what happens. Like, you learn in the failing of trying to accomplish something. So whatever it may be, and there is an expression that says, if it's worth doing, it's worth doing wrong. And it kind of means like you got to start out and do it wrong. Another one, I actually wrote this down from the book I was reading this morning. It's what kind of brought on this discussion. To wait for the perfect conditions is to wait forever. It's like waiting to be ready for something. We've all done that, and whether it's getting married or having kids, and one day you just finally say, I'm never going to feel ready. Like, I just have to do it. And so when I've put that into my horsemanship of just get out there and do things and make mistakes, like, there's a lot of decisions to be made. Do I push harder here? Do I back off here? But at the end of the day, I would rather try things and have it not go well than not try them and not know. And so I've been at this not a super long time as far as it goes with people that are, master horsemen and stuff, but I've just recently really put lead changes into my headlights, just right in front of me, just trying to figure them out, because I've just been warned off of them so much, things like bridling a horse up and lead changes. People say, oh, you're going to get him hot. Oh, you're going to do this. Oh, you're going to do that. But the people that warn you off of it, they went out there and tried, and they messed that horse up, and they made mistakes, and that's how they got to the level of telling you, hey, be careful of this. And they don't realize they're accidentally stopping your progress by just cautioning you all the time not to overdo something. And it depends on your personality type how you receive that advice. So for me, when you caution me in the past, I took it to an extreme. I was way too cautious. And so I'm glad now that I'm not that cautious, and that I understand you have to go make the mistakes. So even when someone cautions me, I'm a little more likely to be like, yeah, well, let's just do it and see, because a lot of things we mess up, we can also go back and fix. And so that's a lot of what horse training is. It's making them worse and making them better and making them worse. But it's like the stock market, it's you make them worse, you make them better. And so there's this steady climb, but it looks like this. It's a lot of up and down, and then overall, and it might be a little flatter like this. We're going up, but on the individual days, it feels like a loss, or it feels harder. And so I would suggest, if you are a waiter, I would try to be a doer. I would kind of throw caution to the wind. I would get out there, have some fun. The best thing you can do when switching over from a waiter to a doer is let go of your frustrations. Don't bring them with you. Don't get mad about things. Don't get mad at your horse. That's what will make it not work, is when you bring frustration into a place where your horse is trying to sort something out and you're trying to sort something out. You get mad, they're not going to want to do it again, which means you're not going to want to do it again. So I find that your better future is on the other side of a certain number of mistakes. And don't let people talk you out of making those mistakes because you want conditions to be perfect. I've got some really good friends that are really good horsemen, and they've slowed me down because they caution me too much, and I've just kind of find a place to let it go out there and do it and have fun. And like I said, if you love your horse, you're not going to ruin them excessively. They might get a little worse some days, they might get a little nervous. Well, sometimes that's just part of learning, is being unsure. And every time a horse is unsure, it gets nervous, and that's okay. They'll sort it out over time. You'll sort it out. So the two types, a doer and a waiter, the people I think it would be the greatest predictor of success is when they come here and they're doers. They don't wait for the perfect process. They don't wait for the perfect time. They don't wait for the horse to know every single step and way. Because sometimes you got to get to the end and start over, and get to the end and start over, and get to the end and start over. And now, knowing this point helps you do better at this point and all the process between. And then you get to the end and you realize, I didn't get the softness good enough. I didn't get the leg yield good enough. I didn't get the side pass good enough. Whatever it may be, you don't really figure out what's missing till you take that horse to a show and you're going to show one-handed finished, and all that softness at home, now it's gone. Throw it out the window because you didn't do enough at home because someone cautioned you. Don't bridle them up too much. Don't over bridle them. Be careful. Well, now you haven't practiced enough, and you go to the show and your horse is turning its head upside down because, well, you just didn't put it in enough tough situations at home. You made everything easy at home, and guess what? That's not realistic for going to a show and being nervous and being in a new place, seeing new things. So I hope that helps some of you guys, especially if you're a waiter like I was for a long time. Don't be so scared to make mistakes. The people that just go out there and do it, they're going to pass you up. So you might have to be a little more like them. Well, I hope that helps. And we'll see you guys next time.